Welcome to Design It with Tammy Gibbs. I'm Tammy, and today I'm pretty excited because I always really like when my video ideas and concepts come from you, the creators that watch me. So basically, what happened was in the messages on Etsy, I had someone message me, and they were a little frustrated because they couldn't quite figure out how to prompt to get the double spread for junk journals. So rather than, I started to try to tell her some different ways I've done it, but and I'm assuming I'm just going to say creator because I'm honestly not sure. I didn't even look at the name, but I think it was a lady. But anyway, so the frustration was coming from not being able to prompt so that you have the crease down the middle, and she was wanting to put two different things. She sent me kind of a illustration on Canva where she was using like an overlay and the page setup. So I I have mentioned this before on some of my other junk journal videos. I did a junk journal little mini workshop that Jessa Bellman put out. And as part of it, she had some Photoshop and some Canva templates for bases and that sort of thing. So Photoshop is a lot more in depth, and you can do a little bit more with it because she has this whole little package that's all set up where you pick your base and then you just drag your images in and all that kind of stuff. But that alone still really doesn't solve some of what I think the creator that was messaging me was trying to do. So with junk journals, and I'm going to go into Canva just so I can show you, and then we're going to pop back into Artistly. I've already got sort of a page here. So you see, here is a junk journal base that is set up where you have your middle crease, I call it right here. And then these are some of the overlays that were with that. Now, these are pretty much available inside the Photoshop portion of it. I cannot find exactly how I managed to get this, so I'll try to come back and leave a note if I figure it out. I had asked some folks in the group because I couldn't find anything more than just this one. Now, what you can do is if you have Affinity and you have her package, now, of course, you would need her package to do it. However, um, you can take the Photoshop, you can take the package that she gives you and open it in Affinity, which is now free. It's part of Canva now, but that Affinity, the online version, is free. And you can use it to, I imported the whole package, her whole kind of package here. And so then you can get your layers, and if you want to export these out, then you can export them as a PDF. I'm sorry, a PNG, and just separate the overlays if you want to do that. Now that's just a workaround, but we're going to go back in here. So I'm going to show you back here. So these overlays, how they work is you have your base here, but the overlays, and I'm just going to copy this one, and then, oops, I got to go backwards. So I get my thing back here. Okay. So this is the one right here that I was trying to do. And you just go in and copy the overlay and then apply it over the top. Now, this has to be sized where everything fits on here. So just kind of work with it. And then it just sits on top. So then that gives you a little bit more pronounced and decorative. So, either is kind of fine. Let me make a copy of this and I'll show you without it again. So without it, you have that crease. And this one I actually did inside Artistly. So another, I'm going to jump in artistly, and I'm going to show you in a few minutes how to create some of these. I'm going to go on a blank page now, and I'm going to show you how I got this image here, this one, which I think is pretty cool. I want y'all to think outside of the box because so many of the creators that I work with, when they first start, when they're doing the AI and they get an image, they don't think beyond what the image looks like right then. Okay, so I'm going to show you what this looked like before I did my little thing. So basically, it's this. So, see? Um, I took and I just expand. There's a couple ways you can do it. You can go in and you can just grab and you can just cut it down to where you just have your little edges. And of course, you're wanting to do it where it makes sense. You want to get just enough of that little edge there. And you want to go here. And then down here, you just want to kind of go up. Okay. So then that gives you something you can work with and you haven't wasted an image, because a lot of times the AI may not deliver exactly precisely what you wanted. And you see that I was able to create a really cool looking version of this. Take it a little bit over a little bit more. So, you have a workable image and that you can then overlay if you want it a little different, or if you just want it plain, you have it plain like this. And this one I actually trimmed off more. So if you wanted more, you just drag it all the way to the edge, and then you can't even tell it had the little pages, and you just do the same thing here. So then it just becomes kind of your grungy background. Okay, which these make very good bases. I mean, you can literally can layer all kind of things to them, and I'm going to go over, well, let's go over here, and I'll show you this one. Let's do it this way. So just to show you what I'm talking about, I'm going to drag this over and then just see. I don't know. I haven't tried isolating and doing magic grab on here yet, but we're going to try it and we'll troubleshoot it if it, yes. Okay, so it's going to let me grab some pumpkins, and so I can grab this whole thing here. And this is another really great thing now with your journaling and stuff, is if you want those certain little elements that, like this little cluster here, I can grab it off of this one. And I always make a copy, so because it is going to take them off of this one. But now if I want to go here, and we'll go to this one that has got the little elements here, we can pull that down in the corner, like if you're wanting to build them, but you just really like those pumpkins. Oops. Then you can, why is that doing that? I'm sorry. Let's do it this way. And this way. So we want that to go like that. Now, we don't really want that to be there, and you can tell that that is not, we want it behind the little overlay here, I think. So we're going to just grab the overlay and we're going to position it, bring it forward. So then we have it like that. Now, that's still, you kind of need a little something to, you can do the pumpkins a couple of different ways, and I'm just going to roll this over to the side so I can get to them. You can go in and you can go up here and you can just adjust, different things like the brightness, not have it quite like darken it like that, which works really fine. You can do that. You can also go back to the filters and you can filter it different ways. Like these are a little bit, I think that one was really good. And that's still a little bit dark. But there's a lot of different ones you can do. Like you can do the real soft. I think we'll maybe stay with that one. And then just roll this back over. Of course, you want to make sure that you've got all of it showing that you want to show. So then you've added these little pumpkin elements like this, and then you could actually, if you wanted to, take these when you've done them and duplicate them. We don't want them up there. We want this back. Want this to the front. Okay, it is to the front. Okay. Goodness, my little dog's choking. Okay, and then we can just pull them over like that. Now these are sitting on behind as well, but we could take and we can move them since we've grabbed it. What it is it's catching a frame that I have that I didn't even realize I had. So to do that, if we want to raise them up, we can use our arrow keys and raise them up without it jumping into that frame, like if we don't want it there. So we could do this, and then we can actually even flip it. So we can flip it so that now what we're doing, and again, it's grabbing it and poking it into that frame. So we can use our arrow keys and get it back where we want it. So this is another way that you can change like what's on each side. Now, I believe that the question was really coming and the confusion that was coming was not in necessarily doing it like this, but I hope these will help give her and you all, new ideas on how to do it. Okay. So another thing that I do a lot of times when I'm in and doing the something like this is when I really want it all to kind of go together, and this is actually just a brown shape, is to lay that over and dial that transparency down so then it all blends in and looks more like it was all created together. Okay. And these are just rough. I don't have time to get real detailed in. So these are going to be basic placing things on there to show you how to do it. And that's it. So this is using one of these overlays from Jessa that basically I had to, the basis, she gives you the basis for, and let me show you that. I had it opened here. This is the bases you get. So you get all these different bases here. So like if we wanted to work with another base and then we wanted to layer on top of it, then that would be really easy. Where you really get your design flexibility is being able to have these overlays that you can lay over these different things. And you can see here how this changed. And let me just put the actual image there, and you can see how it changes this image, which is plain, doesn't have a crease, so it really turns just about any of your artwork into a junk journal page. So, and you're going to be just copying that and then pasting it and then just adjusting it to your image. And then now it looks more like a junk journal page. Now with this particular one, you can go back to we can take that off. We can go in here and we can go and jump and grab, which this I think is just when you're really kind of wanting to make it look more like it's cut out and stuff, then you can actually grab some of these elements off of that image and then come over here to this one where it is all together. And let me just bring mine in, size it up properly so it's, there we go. So then we can grab that image from here, this one, and grab it and put it over here, Oops. Gotta watch that. Okay, so we can turn this around. Let's flip it. So now we have an image that's overlaid over the top of just the plant. So we've got that, but it sits on top of the frame. So if we wanted to do this and we wanted to flip it again, we could put it over here. And, if we wanted them to. Now, we can lock this, I think, and then maybe we wouldn't have all that going on. So let's try this one again. Nope, it didn't lock the other one, so that didn't work. Sorry about that. Bad advice. But anyway, you know what I'm saying. We don't want it. We want to raise it with our arrows. Pull it up where we want it. So it just gives you a way to add on top of, if you kind of get what I'm showing you. So that's another way that you can add some dimension to your, because you have the other that's like behind the overlay, and then you can have some on the top by using the magic grab inside. So this, it's a little different to do these inside Canva as opposed to Photoshop. If you have Photoshop, then she's got it set up where you've got those layers that you can use, and you can kind of use that as a template for yourself to create like another little base thing where you've got your own bases and then you've got your own overlays and stuff. So you can do it in there. You can do it, pull that same file in as a PSD for the Photoshop inside Affinity. If you don't have and don't want to use Photoshop because of the cost, then you can use that free program. I know a lot of people have used some other ones that were freebie ones, but Affinity is a very powerful program. It'll do a lot of things for free. So, anyway, let's move along. I'm trying to get better about this. But anyway, so you can separate and export those out if you want to use those frames. I think that would be fine. I'm sure Jessa will tell me if she doesn't. The only thing is with Jessa's stuff, now, when you buy it, you're going to use it to create something like this. This, I'm adding things. I'm adding my background and everything. So you cannot sell her individual items as clip art or overlays or any of that. You can't sell that as an actual product. You have to create something with it, so keep that in mind, definitely. So anyway, so we're going to now go into Artistly, and I'm just going to show you some of the things that I created when I was prepping for this video, and show you some of the really cool ones. So this, and let me see if I already have that downloaded. I do not. Okay, so I want to download this one and this one with the book stacks, and then we're going to take it over into Canva. And now those were actually created from a prompt. So, and I did use my junk journal playbook doing this. So we're going to grab this one. This one is flat, but it has the book over. It's like a flat lay, but it still sort of shows the book outline here, which is actually not bad. I would use this as is, or, I could. Let's see what it would look like with an overlay on top of that. And this is just the only one that I actually have that's So you can see that it changes the looks of it just a tiny bit, which is really cute. So here you go. You get a little more distinction when you're using those. So it is a really good kit to have just for, to get the basics. And then this one is one that I actually brought in, I think. Yes, okay. We'll go out. This one right here, I'm going to copy and bring it over here. And this one, size it down. This one is one of the ones that I actually exported from her kit. So it's a different overlay, but I took and exported it from the Affinity, pulling in the file and then doing it from Affinity. So, and with this, because we have two different frames, we can play with it to see if, yes. So you could get three different effects. Basically, you're getting the effect with the first overlay and then the second overlay on top of it. So you get those two different things if you really want to make it very grungy. But this turned out really well. Now, and this is more the only thing that probably I might would change is to I might want to convert this into like a watercolor, like make the books watercolor. So let's just say I'm in the middle of it and I decide, okay, I would like to do that, but I would like that book stack to be watercolor because obviously I didn't prompt for that possibility. So I would go over into the AI art assistants or AI design assistants. And then I would go to this particular image and I would say convert the book stack into a watercolor image. Now, I could specify from the prompt books a particular watercolor, but for the sake of time, I'm just going to do it this way. And then, of course, we want to select the one that is the landscape aspect ratio so that it delivers. And I did not. I didn't do it that way. So let's go back in and I'll have to redo it. Actually, you know what? I may just download it like this. That actually is a good picture. So, okay. I need to be more specific with what I told it to do anyway. So this is some troubleshooting for you. Let's go back to Design Assistants, go to Human Stylizer, grab the picture. Okay, and then change the aspect ratio. This one. Okay, so convert. Okay, leave everything the same, but change the book stack to a watercolor image. Okay, I think I got it right now. But now this is good because it's a really good image. It's a good aged book stack that could be pulled in and used for a different one. Okay. We're going to see what we get now. Okay, it changed all of it to the watercolor, so that one's not exactly, it's not, normally Human Stylizer is really good. So, but anyway, this is cool because this actually gives us another image we can use. So, we're going to go back in. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to actually just take this book stack. And we got to go back in our right one. Okay, so we're going to take this book stack. We're going to take this and we're going to have to kind of peel back these little layers just for a minute and then go back to the base layer on this. And then what we can do is we can try to grab those books Okay, so it's not going to let us on that one. So we're going to have to overlay it. So that's fine. Sometimes the magic grab just won't work. It's, you've done too much to it and it just won't work. So we're going to go to the uploads and we're going to upload that stack of books. And then we're going to remove the background. And then we're going to now I'm also going to show you a way that you can layer without going through all of this and having it pop. The reason that this one is, and you may or may not want to use it because of that or that way. Let's make sure we roll them back over the way that we needed to. Okay, so now it's back and now we have that stack. And you could even kind of have two stacks or whatever. Have it, pull it down into the corner. So however you want to do it. So you can have it like that. I would go in and would try to make it match the tone. And adjust it. That's much lighter. Saturation is different. Go back up here to the brightness and just make it a little darker. Okay. But anyway, you get the picture. You get the idea of what you can do and how you can layer. Okay, so let's go back to Artistly because I really think that the gist of everything was how do you actually, like, this is a whole page, let me show you some others that I did. These have the crease down the middle, right? All of these have the crease down the middle, but it gave us the book, and that was mainly because it mentions a book, and inside the grunge scrapbook it just kept interpreting that. So we're going to go back into grunge scrapbook and we're going to play with some wording. So up here it does say dark academia style, but down here it just says a dark academia full page. So I'm actually going to eliminate this one and just leave the full page. Okay, so, and then it says featuring a stack of books in the left lower corner. I don't have anything that says watercolor in here, so I'm going to put watercolor right here at the front. And like I said, for sake of time, I'm not doing a specific watercolor. If I were doing this to sell, I would be working with the exact pinning it down. But this is just for technique and for prompting and order, for showing you how you can go in and change things. Okay, so, and it says seamlessly blending with the existing background and border to create a cohesive, immersive journal experience paired with a full page spread featuring a stack of books in the left corner and on the right corner an angled script and unreadable note handwritten. Okay, so Latin margin notes, ink blotting, blah, blah, blah. Okay, so all that's fine. Matching crease, and we're just going to try it and see. I use the 4:3 aspect ratio. If you use anything else, it's not going to give you that landscape layout that you need, and it will change what your image, your end result is going to be and look like and how it interprets it. So you're probably going to get something. There we go. That's better. Now, I'm not sure. Yeah, that is watercolor. It's still real. It's kind of dark. So we would have to do like a muted or something. But it did not do the book. Now, this was the exact same prompt we used before. I just changed it up and removed that second reference to dark academia without the style on it. So now we were able to get this. So you can get the ones that will do everything with you. Now, for the person that had asked about me doing this or showing them how to do this, let's go back in and let me show you some prompting. Right now, my playbook has a lot of, if you have the playbook, you just have to look for, you kind of have to know, it's just like why I did the playbooks. And I know y'all think I sound like a broken record, but when you're prompting, the key to everything is knowing what to ask for. So a lot of times, if you're just you're not thinking in the minute details of what that composition looks like, then you leave out that one part. So, okay, double page spread. Okay, that's a key that you need to do. I tell you what, I'm going to take this in, and I'm going to take it into here, and so I can work with it with you guys. And then I'm going to point out, I'm going to paste this. Okay, so now we have our prompt. Now let's just break it down. So create a grunge border overlay for a junk journal, academia, dark academia style, double page spread. So let me point out a few things that are important to make sure you include. See, this phrase is double page spread with the center matching crease. And then I've added grunge middle because I wanted the crease to be more grungy in the middle than just a single line crease. So you have to be more specific. And then it says incorporating scattered cryptic handwriting, so in the incorporating is a good word to use. And then it has kind of what you want, and then grungy font seamlessly. Okay, and this seamlessly blending with the existing background and border to create a cohesive, immersive junk journal experience paired with a full page spread. So again, you've got double page, and then you've got full page spread featuring, and then what it is, what you want it to do. So instead of a stack of books, let's change this out and let's go over here and come up with something. Let's go to let's find an let's do this realistic wildlife. I'll pull this in. We'll go back over here, and we're going to replace this with that realistic wildlife illustration, but we're going to refine it and go of a deer with antlers, and then do like a highly detailed depiction of the deer. And then we're going to erase the animals and birds because we don't need the animals and birds. We just need the deer. And we need to take the period out because it's going to be in the left. We want it to be in the left corner. Now, this may or may not work. That's what prompting is. But anyway, so we're going to try to replace that and see. Now, we've got dark academia, so who knows how adding that is going to work. But we're also using the grunge scrapbook. I'm sorry, am I using the grunge scrapbook? Yes, that's the setting. We're going to go back in and do the 4-3, and we're just going to try it because that's where you discover the magic is just trying the things and seeing what you're going to get from them. So there we go. Look at that. How cool is that? So it actually put it on both corners, but they're different, so that would work for me. It's a different image on each side. Now, okay, so if the creator that was messaging me was talking about getting something totally different on, on each side. That's going to be where you're going to get hit and miss probably, because let's just try it. Okay, let's say we want a bird on the right hand side. So deer with antlers on the left lower corner, and on the right corner, instead of this, just on the right lower corner, a um, a quail bird. Let's just see what we get. And it's also going to be very dependent on which one of the generators you're using, because each one of them interprets everything differently. Oops, I picked out the wrong thing, but I did get the right. That actually kind of looks like a quail. Okay, so let's regenerate that one. Now, the only thing I see is it got the left and the right a little bit mixed up, my left and right. So apparently it's looking at it differently. But we're going to go, I hit the wrong thing. We could use that for like a bookmark or something, though. That's kind of pretty. So you can do it. Will it be perfect every time? It will not be perfect every time, but this is cool. I would use this. Oops, I didn't mean to do that. I wanted to make it bigger. Let's go to it, and I want to look at it. I really like it a lot. Very cool. So you can basically, go in and get any kind of, another cool place to get ideas for these would be, and we'll do that. I just wanted to, let's open this bigger. How cool is that? I think my little quail, his legs look a little bit long, but I could do a different kind of bird or something. I don't know why it struggles with quail so much, but most people that didn't really know what kind of bird it was supposed to be would just accept that. But this is really pretty. This would make a really cool scrapbooking kit. So now I'm going to show you a little secret. You don't want everything exactly the same, but maybe you don't want to have to go in and try to give it, the different look. So we're going to go back in and we're going to just see what naturally it comes up with for 4 images and see, as far as kit making goes. Okay. So that's a little different. It did flip them. So that would actually work without doing hardly any more work. All of these would work. Okay. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to pick out the one I like the best. I like them all. I think I'll just work with this one. I just want to show you something. Another trick inside Canva, if you're working inside Canva, and I know a lot of us do, just because it's kind of easier. So we're going to take this here. And then now let me show you how you can set things up to work a little bit differently. Okay, what we're going to do is we're going to go into Elements, and we are going to grab, and we're going to, of course, find our middle. Where am I? Show rulers and guides. I don't know what this is. My guides are not the way that they should be. Anyway, okay. So we're going to take and put 2 frames right beside each other, 2 pages, okay? So we're just going to drag this over, and that's close enough, okay, for illustrative purposes. And then what we're going to do is we're going to go and upload that image. I could use any, but I just want to use this one because it's fun, and we haven't seen it before. And I'm going to show you how you can, like, mix and match. Let's go back into Artistly, and let's go to this one, and we'll download it. Okay. So we'll have both of them there so we can see. Okay. So these are not alike. We can all say they're not alike. Okay, this one, what I'm going to do is drag it into this frame. Okay, so you see what I'm going to do? I'm going to drag this over this way. You don't have to do this if you're using it as is, but we can do it like that. Then we can actually drag it into this side. And we can, hang on. Okay, so now it's the same way it was. Either way you go. But what we can do here is we can take this in, and if it's one that will let us do it, which maybe it will be, if we can isolate, yes, this lets us take that deer, which is really good because we could do it. It'll take our bird out. Okay, so we're going to grab the bird, and we're going to take it out, and then now we have a blank over here. Okay, so what we can do is we can actually take maybe whichever one we want of this, and we can try it. We're going to just leave it here, and then we're going to go in, and if it lets us take this bird, then we're going to grab it, and then we're going to just eliminate that away, and then we're going to take this bird, and we're going to put it, actually, I'm going to lock this where maybe the frame, nope, still going to, doesn't matter if it's locked or not. I think we decided that was the case before, but anyway, so we're going to drag our bird in on that side. Like that. And then down so that he kind of blends in with his little legs there. Whoops, a little bit over, a little bit more. And now we have merged those two images. We got the bird we wanted to, but the deer we wanted to here. So another cool thing you can do is when you have objects like this is to actually make a as you go along, and this is all in with my whole new fascination with having the elements, an element vault that you can pull from. So if you take this and then you go in and then you grab these elements and then you just have a side page over here that you're working with, then you can drag this element out. And yes, you would have to put something in front of it. That's perfectly fine because we layer all the time anyway. And then same thing with this one. We actually have already removed that one, so we can just drag it over here. And then we have two elements we could pull in as we're doing things. So, and if they're actually images that are complete, like these, the bottoms of them are missing because they weren't they weren't layered that way. Then you could, and this is the same way with wherever the books were. See, we have the books here. We have these books. We could go in and we could actually, if we wanted to, we could take and make a stack with that. So this is yet another way that you can use these images now. That magic grab is fascinating. It's just amazing. Same thing over here. We have this one. We could drag it over and look at all the elements we've already created that we can pull in and use. But when you have a theme here, so where would that be handy? How would that work? How, what would make that different? Well, number one, we've eliminated now, and we've created, by removing the deer, we've created a whole different setup here that we can layer more things on. Same thing with the bird over here. We could take this bird out. Let's make a copy and let's do that. And then we would have a base that we could use with anything. We could use with the books. We could use it however. Let's go in and take that bird out. Okay, we can just, oops, why did I do that? Sorry about that. I hit the wrong thing. Okay, so we can take it, grab it, and then once we grab it, if we're not, well, that one, we can just remove it. And now we have a base that we have created that we can layer other things over. I don't think that the background will remove from it. Most of these it won't, because they are merged kind of together. But this is a really cool background. And let's just say we want to use this on top of it. Look and see what it would look like. I think this is it. So basically, with prompting that one time, see, that's even really pretty. Got all, and that's so cool. So basically, you've got like this one. If you did this one, is that the same one? I can't remember which one we took the deer off of. Okay, we need this one. We take these deer, this deer and this bird off, then, and this one may not let us. I think this one may not have yeah, it's going to let us. And this is the full deer also. So we're going to grab him. Now, if you grab in the same pass, if I had tried to grab both of those, then it will connect those together and then you have to take them apart. But see, by doing that and taking, now I'm not sure, will it let me remove background on that? That's odd. Okay, it let me take the deer off, but it did not, which is fine because it still allows us to use this background. So now we have another one here. If we take that bird off, then we have another one. So, realistically, you could, from one generated image, you could literally have 3 or 4 or 5 different variations of that one image, being the backgrounds, able to use those and save your backgrounds. This is just a little tip here. Okay, so we've established that we can remove those items and keep those backgrounds. Think about trying to bring those in that you've created with all your other packs, and see if there's objects you can take off so that you can reuse those spreads. I love creating AI art, but the reality is sometimes we don't have time to do that. So having an element vault that we can refer to, like with the backgrounds and stuff, we really, as creators, are very, I guess, time, we don't save time. I don't know exactly how to phrase it. A lot of times we're recreating a lot of things we don't have to, and our planning is what would make things a lot easier for us. Like I said, creating an object, way that these objects can be done, a way that, now this one's not going to be any good to us, so we can just do away with this. Creating this as we go, when we're in a design session, using the duplicate feature and then, changing everything on one or taking the animals out or whatever. Looking at the objects not as them being perfect, because these aren't because of this, but in most cases we're going to layer them anyway. It's not going to matter. So grab them anyway. And then here now we have a deer that we could put literally, if we wanted to put it on this one, we could do that. We could just copy this one and we could just take it over here, and then we could paste it here and we could put it here. We could flip it and we could put it on this other side over here. There's so many things that we can do with these elements. But to be smart with your time and smart with your resources, if you have these vaults built up yourself that you have access to, that means that when your life gets busy and you don't have time to go in and fight with AI and get just the right prompt, you already have some resources that you can work with, and that's the beauty of having like the junk journal playbook, or like I just got through doing the whole vision board kit, the plan, the process of, you can create them for this and make this product, but then you can take the elements that you created for that and then roll those into other products, create a vault for that. And then, I did recently a video on doing the photo realistic images and all the things, so I have a playbook for that and videos to go with that. So that whole concept of vaulting and creating these vaults of your images and elements, you have your images and elements. It's the form they're in and it's the location that they're stored that makes the difference. Having all this raw clip arts and stuff like that is fine. That is not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about and now if it's elements of clip art that you can use for junk journals, then pull some, make a copy, pull them, and get you an organized system. I did a video also recently about organizing things. And so you could take that same concept from that video where, you name them, it's 2026. And you have I could put these as different elements. So I could have an elements folder inside my main vault. And then I could, instead of just having elements, I could have a folder that's elements, but then inside that I could have books and academia stuff, anything like that. Then I could have, wildlife, animals, or whatever in that. And the vaults can be named Junk Journal Vault, or, the clip art vault, So, completed package vault. I mean, it's all in your pre-planning, and the better you plan, the better you execute, then the more money you're going to make, because you're not going to be wasting time looking for things and having to stop everything, or either just not put a product out, when life's busy and your kids have lots of functions, or your parents need you, to take them to a doctor's visit, or you've got to work your other job. These are all techniques and things that you can use to already have some items you could pull and mix and match and work with. And that concept works whether you're doing a junk journal or a clip art pack or a vision board pack or anything like that, So it still allows you to not to kind of step back from that creation process, which I love, doing that. But a lot of times I create in bulk. So I may go in and do a whole bunch of backgrounds at one time, or I may do a whole bunch of other things at the same time. So anyway, so I've gotten a little bit off, but this is a way that you can, just a quick way. For me, it's kind of the fastest way to get it there. So what I'm going to do with this is I have this Bases Junk Journal double page. This is a copy of the original file, which is here. So in this copy now, I've got the first two are the backgrounds and everything. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to change the view here, and then I'm just going to go back to here, and I'm going to start deleting the pages that have the animals and stuff on them, because I want just the base backgrounds to be on there. So, and I do have a few that are base backgrounds. Now, this one I probably wouldn't put here. I would probably put it in one of the other things. I would leave this in this file just for an easy if I'm going to make this into like a brand folder or a brand template, then that would let me do that. This is a good background. I might would leave that one, but I would take all the rest of these out. Oops. Let's see. I might would leave this because this is the frames beside each other. And then this one, that's the frames beside each other too. So we're going to get rid of it. Okay. And then what I would say, I'm going to pop back in over here. And now we're going to see, we put these frames in here. And then I wanted to show you one more thing that you can do. So if we're going with, say, this, and I'm just going to duplicate it before I get out of it. I want to show you a different thing that you can do here that will give you another possibility. Okay, go over to your elements and go down into the paper here. So if you've got this background and you want to add some elements into that background, then you can try adding in some of these paper shapes, basically. Like you could do one like this, and then you could do this one that's a little different. So then what you would do is go back to your wherever you want to get your art from. And then if you want to pull in, like say we want to pull this in. So we can pull it in here, we can double click, we can drag it over like this. Okay. And then we can go on this side and we can pull it in and we can do this. And then we've created kind of a different thing. Now I might want to do instead this one instead because it would, shh, sorry about that. I think my husband's about to be here. Okay, so now we have this and we can do this side. It's about time for lunch. But anyway, so we can do it like that and then you have that set up. So that's pretty cool, right? Okay. So, but just for your framing benefit, I would probably, you could go in and you could set it up just again back on that setting things up, go to the elements and like I said, pull out some that you think are good, so you're not having to hunt for them over and over again. Just pull some of those and put them into this main file so that you can work with it. Like I said, this one's a good one. And then you would just, kind of grab them from that instead of having to hunt through all of them all over again. Go through and find some really good ones. You can just add another page and then, like, here's one that would be good. And you don't even have to make them full size, just as long as you're getting them, the ones that you might want to use that would kind of fit with that and give you the little overlay. Those look like some of the best ones. Maybe we could do that one. I don't know that you'd use it that much. But then you just don't have to. Yeah, I think those are the best ones. Yeah. So anyway, so now that's all in there. You know, you name it the base general thing, then you have the bases. You put them all in this file that you can kind of flip through and decide which one you want to work on. And then you can add the elements that you want to. Um, you know, you could even take these that you've done, these little strips. This is another idea for you if you're wanting to do some things that you can interchange. Make some copies of this, like the layout, and then so duplicate that, and then go back and to the uploads, and then say we want to use this. You know, we could do this with it and see how that turns out. Make it bigger so that maybe only the big, see, we could do that. So it's going to be like that on that side, and then drag it again and factor like that. And then I don't know that I would want the crease. I wouldn't want that. I would just want it like this. There we go. And then, you know, you would have these elements that then you could grab them, and then you could come over and place them on top of, say, maybe this one. You know, you make it bigger to fit what you're doing. So that's just one more layer that you can do. You know, like if you really wanted to go in and go ahead and add some things in, like maybe you wanted to, instead you wanted to do this one with the books. You could go in and do it like this. And let's see, if you wanted to do something like that on top, you know, layering it on top. I mean, so it really just opens up to be able to do so many different things. And so let's go back into Artistly and let's play a little bit more with getting those images. Now, this one is, I took that same prompt and put it into the artistic designer, and this is the results that we got, which is really cool. It's very usable. So we're going to download it, and it has our crease down the middle, and it has the two different elements that we prompted for it to do. And then we're going to go back into here. Actually, we're going to go into this one, and we're going to, I'm going to copy this one, duplicate it, and then we'll, because this one has that little overlay, I think. Okay, so I'm going to pull back the overlays, and then we're going to have, no, that's not the one that had it. So anyway, let's see if we can find it. I'll just walk you through creating it again. I think that I can go into projects now, into these folders, and go into this, the design over here. I'm gonna projects, go under designs. There it is. There's my bases. Okay, so this one does not have the, This is not showing all of them, so we can't do it. So I'll just do it from scratch. Okay. So what we want to do is I'm going to create a page. I'm going to go over here and upload that image, the one from the artistic. And so we can basically use it as is. There's nothing wrong with using this exactly the way it is, like this. But if we wanted to do something else with it, we have the options of layering it using this on top, this overlay, which we definitely could do, which is real pretty. Or I'll duplicate the page. We can do it a different way. We can get a blank page here, and we can go over and we can get copy this one. I'm just going to copy it to make it simpler. And paste it over here. I could have just duplicated it right there in Word, but I wanted it side by side with this one. And then, so we've got this base, but we want to kind of combine them. So we could go over to the elements and to the frames. Not forms, frames. Okay. And then we go down to paper, see all. And then we pick this one. And I think I'm going to flip that one. No, that's not what I want. I want to flip it. Flip it horizontally. Oh, wrong thing. Okay. It's not letting me flip it. That's different. I thought I'd been able to flip those. Oh well, we'll work with it the way it is. Okay, so we've got that, and then we'll do this one. I think I like that one better. I'll copy it and do away with that one. We'll just do both of them kind of like that. Okay. And then what we're going to do is we're going to take this one and drag it in here like I was showing you. Double click on it and then rotate it over so you get it centered for that side. Do the same thing over here, but do it the opposite direction. And then have it fill the frame like that. So now we've got this overlay effect when it's really not overlaid exactly, but it gives you that effect. So that's pretty cool, right? So now we have a different look. We have the just as it was right here with the overlay, and then we have this version. So we've got 3 different ones there created from the same page. Okay, let's pop back in here for just one more thing. And then we're going to, let's just see if we can amend this a little bit more. So let's just say we don't want grunge. We just want a vintage. And if I had time and hadn't already gone over, I would go into the playbooks and I would pick out specifically, the type of border and everything. Vintage, lace border. The good thing about working with the playbooks is once you've used them a good bit, then a lot of those phrases kind of stick with you and you don't have to look them up every time. So vintage lace border overlay for a Junk Journal dark academia style. We can still leave that. Double page spread, matching crease, handwritten equations, that can stay. Grungy font, seamless blending, da 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 da. Paired with a full page. We don't want the realistic. We do want to go back in and let's get this botanical. we'll do that. That didn't take very long to get. Okay, so we're going to replace this with the botanical. Full scene layout. But then with a floral or matching floral along the right and left sides. And instead of matching, let's do coordinating, because coordinating is not the same. So hopefully it gives us a different coordinating floral. And in there, we can remove that about all of that. Okay, so we can remove all that, and we'll just see what we get. So it should still be sort of grungy, but change over to more of a botanical look with some florals. So still some of that handwritten element. So really, once you get a really good prompt, then that you kind of like the style of, then everything else gets a little bit easier because you go in and you just kind of tweak the subject. This is artistic, so it takes just a little bit longer than some of the others do. I'll tell you what, while we're waiting on that, I'll grab that whole prompt and I'll take it back into the Illustrator. And then we can get another one, another version. We'll just pop in here. Oops. We don't have to do that. Oh, look at that. How pretty. That's gorgeous. And it has the lace on. Well, you would not really have to do anything, I don't think, with this one. This one could be just done as is. Let's take it into Canva. And let's grab us a blank page, upload it. That's a beautiful. Now, I wasn't specific about what colors or anything. All those things are the things that you can then go in and you can refine. Okay, so it does look more like a book. So let me give you some suggestions on this. What I would do is go in and I would remove the background. Okay, and then I would just kind of nudge it so, or either position it so that I could get to the background, and then I would do probably black. I don't know. Let's do this. Let's grab this and then let's go in and get this little charcoaly or right the little edges here. That's a little too. Okay. Another thing you can do, and I'm just going to search for them because I don't have time to go look for my elements. Parchment paper. You could do that and you could find a background like that, or you could actually just overlay this on top of one of these. So we could take this one and then we're going to take this and then we're just going to basically, and I'm going to make a copy. Duplicate. Okay. So now what we're going to do is we're just going to take this and instead drop it right over this. And then we're going to pull the edges out as far as we can. We can still have that little book look if we want to. That's fine. We can do that and leave it kind of like that. Or, and that looks fine, you know, it really does. Then we could go and we could grab that overlay now. That's a cool thing about the overlays too, is when you have something like that, a lot of times it covers up like those little edges. So we could actually lay that over it. And then look how cool. Thank you so much for watching the video. I hope that you have enjoyed it and gotten some new ideas on how to prompt for and design those double page spreads for your junk journals. For those interested in Jessa Bellman's Junk Journal Sales Secrets, I think that's what she called that mini workshop. I'm going to put my affiliate link down in the description. And if you're interested in those bases and all the other items that are included with her mini course, you'll want to check it out. I felt like it was well worth the cost, and I have worked with, and those included elements that she provided quite a bit, and really enjoyed working with those. I think it's a really good product. Really, really good for those that are just learning and getting started, because you basically get the videos and the workbook, and then you also get those elements. So it's a really nice little package deal. Anyway, I also have links to both of the platforms where you can purchase my playbooks. They're in the description. And then also keep in mind that volume 2, that's the clipart playbook, and the junk journal playbook are only available on Gumroad. And I do often run sales on those playbooks, and currently I do have some sales running. But if you're watching this past 2/19 of 26, you may want to just check and see. Hopefully they're still there, and maybe they're running. I'm running a sale. But anyway, be sure to go and check out my new web portal. It's designed to be an educational portal, as well as connecting you with my different products, and then giving you an option of where you actually purchase the products. So I do not have it set up where I get any of your credit card information or anything. You just click which way you want to buy, like Etsy or Gumroad right now are the two options. And you can choose, where to purchase, and it'll just take you straight to that page, and you can check out through those recognized platforms. Let's see. Oh, and definitely when you're there, you'll want to join, if you haven't already, the Creative Dispatch newsletter, and then also my private Facebook group. So, like, all my little resources are there. So, if you, get past this video and you're like sitting there and thinking, oh, I think I want to go and check that out, just go to the designitwithtammygibbs.com. And remember that my name is spelled Tammie. So anyway, you can go to there, and it's kind of a hub. So anyway, so thanks again for watching. And until next time, happy creating.